All right, so it is 1:40 in the morning. It's not late night Michi time because my husband's not home, and I need to close my window because I am not about to have this mess up my audio because this is something I have wanted to make a video on for a long time, but I waited for the right inspiration and get my notes down. I got my paper ASMR here, and I'm ready to go. So the reason for why this inspiration hit me in the middle of the night is, hi, I'm a local insomniac. Nice to meet you. But I was on TikTok, like many people do now, and I was just scrolling through my For You page, and there was this lady, and I want to get it right. Her username is at CECEEJLIVE. I just want to spell it out so it's easier than just saying it because my usernames are terrible, and I'm spelling it out so future Michelle can put her at or their at in the video title so it'll be easier to find it. But yeah, they were pretty much talking about like family stuff, but it just got me because everything that they were saying was such a nail in the coffin for situations I dealt with friends because I actually have a very small family. Although my family can have toxic moments, it didn't have to do with this. But I've had so many people ask me because I've talked about stories here and there, and I've talked about it in streams where they were like, hey Michelle, like you talk about your really, really bad friends in the past and how like terrible your friendships were. And why'd you let it go on so long? Why'd you why blah 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 blah? And it's because it took me, I kid you guys not, 26 years. Yeah, 26 years to like finally have that nail in the coffin for me that really just solidified it. So I don't know how long this video is going to be. So because of my current editing setup and my RAM issue, if there's no background footage and it's just like a static photo or a static thing, it's literally because I wanted to post this video and it's long form format, and I currently cannot do long form videos with my current setup. It's literally a RAM issue, and the footage I use is too high def, so there's that. So if you're wondering if you're looking at a static image, and if not, and you're looking at background footage, well, there's your answer right now. So all right, and pretty much in that person's TikTok, they were saying that like you live too far equals you're not worth the gas, the trip, or the time to come see. So we're gonna really unpack this because I did not have friends growing up in my informative years. I really didn't, and when I finally became finger quote popular, I really wasn't popular. It wasn't until, like I said, I was 26 when I really like that, like I had that glass shattering moment. Okay, where like because I'd known things and I started standing up for myself and I started being more myself, but it was not until I was 26. Okay, it's really important, and I'm still like I kid you not, like at least once a month I get like more proof that I was right in my feelings, that I wasn't paranoid from just stuff I see online from like Facebook and other people that I used to associate with. So, a long time ago, I had a very large group of friends in high school. Okay, this is important. At least I thought they were a really large group of friends. Obviously, I went to high school in 2008 and I graduated in 2011, so it was a very different time, especially now with Six Spiky Round Boy going on. But sorry, I'm like heated because I'm like actually heated because I'm inspired to like do this and sit down and do it. Oh, but when this all happened, okay, I was a transfer kid. Okay, so I remember it would take, and it's so sad. It is so sad that it would come down to this. But in high school, none of my friends, my immediate friends, really had cars. So a lot of them are like, normal high schoolers, you're supplying off your parents and stuff like that. So I lived exactly 15 or so minutes away when you took the freeway. You had to take the freeway, but that's where I lived. Okay, you had to take the freeway, but it was about 15 to 20 minutes. And I remember this because every day going to school, I would listen to music on my iPod, and I would count that I would be able to, depending on the song, I would get through 3 to 4 songs. And that time is usually 15 to 20 minutes, give or take. you know? And it always stuck with me because my friends always lived really close to my school. Now, this is what I'm talking about with the associates thing. So I had a really large group of friends, but realistically, I probably only had, I'll be generous and say 6 friends, right? That sounds like a lot, but we would have big parties of like 20 or so people for birthdays or something, because we were the outcast anime alt nerds, okay? And so it was more so like everybody hung around each other and we kind of got along, but it was one of those things where I would constantly like talk with like my closer friend group, and it would literally never be a thing where like, oh yeah, I would never one-on-one hang out with some of the people in the group and they wouldn't invite me to stuff. So it was kind of like a mutual thing. And I thought, well, that's just like friends. And then you have like your best friends. No, those are called acquaintances, or you can get along with people, or you are friendly with people. Those are not your friends. Big difference right now. And it's like I said, glass shattering moment for me when I had this realization. Hopefully this will help you, which is the whole reason I'm making this video on this rant, is so that like, it doesn't take somebody 26 years to realize this, okay? So, like I said earlier, I didn't have a lot of friends growing up, so I tried so much to please people, and I lied. I lied about a lot of stuff. I was very quiet. I wasn't opinionated like I am now. I didn't tell people all of my interests because I'd have to test the waters because I didn't want them to think I was weird, because I liked stuff in high school. Like, this might sound crazy, I liked watching Power Rangers, like the really cheesy Power Rangers. I also still liked watching Arthur. Like, you know, like the PBS Kids Arthur. Like, I would record Arthur on my parents' TV, and same with, like, finger quote kids anime. At the time, it was, again, very different. But, like, I would try to bring it up with my friends, and I would get weird looks, so I wouldn't talk about it. Wouldn't talk about weird niche interests as I like it. It was only the most popular stuff. Okay? That's why I didn't mention to my friends a lot of my favorite games at the time, because my games were niche games compared to them. I'm not saying that in a hipster way. I'm saying it because I was very self-conscious about it. I kept so much stuff bottled up inside because I didn't want people to judge me, because I went from not having friends to suddenly having a big group of friends. But that tangent aside, you know how I brought up the thing about the music? It's important, right? So whenever I would ask to have people come over, they would always come up with an excuse, or their parents would say something, to where I literally grew up until 2015. So I was well into adulthood, but I barely had people come over. Ever. I just barely had people come over to my house. And there were points where I was ashamed because I had issues with my grandmother, but whenever there were times that like we could have things work out, I wanted people to come over, but there would always be an excuse. And the excuse was always, it's too far. My parents don't want to drive that far. So I thought 15 minutes on the freeway. If you live in Southern California or any big metropolitan area, you know 15 minutes ain't that long, right? And it would always hurt my feelings so much that I would see my friends, and my core friends, not the acquaintances, where they would hang out all the time. They would talk about all these things with me that I was never a part of. Or I would have to be invited, and I would have to get a ride, and I would have to get a ride home. Like, every single time. It was never, it would be like once in a blue moon that their parent would come pick me up and help out. Once in a blue moon. And I was like, that's okay. I live far away. You know? Obviously no one wants to come to my house. Obviously there's issues wrong with me and my family. That's why they don't want to ever come over. It's not like that, right? So I bring this up because it happened into adulthood, when my friends were going to college, my friends were getting jobs, and I was going to college, and I was getting jobs, and, you know, we were getting our own cars, we were paying our own gas, you know, normal adult stuff, right? Normal adult stuff, right? Still come up. Couldn't have stuff unless it was a party, and it had to be a once a year party. It was a birthday or a Halloween party. That was it. And usually we didn't do them both in the same year. That would be the only time they would come out. Ever, right? They'd be polite, they would clean up, they would, you know, we wouldn't make a mess. We didn't really do stupid stuff when it wasn't legal, and I'm not just saying that for YouTube. I like genuinely mean that. I didn't get like drunk until I was 21 and stuff like that. But in 2015, my current, I shouldn't say my current husband, my husband, at the time, my boyfriend, we were not engaged. We were living together with my parents, and we were hitting a financial, really bad hardship. Now, we also understood, because before people are like, what if your friends couldn't afford it? I'm getting into that. When you're, finger quote, really good friends with somebody, you know how much money they make. You know a ballpark. You might not know the per hour, but you know a ballpark. It's just a part of being an adult. Okay, you just do. You figure things out. So we knew the friends that didn't have money and the friends that did have money. And the friends who didn't have money and genuinely worked hard and like didn't do a lot of stuff, they were never the issue, right? But it was the people who did, but they would always make up things and excuses and no. So I was always like, yeah, 15 minutes is really far away. It's really far away. It's so out of the way. And, it really sucks that I get to see them go to the movies all the time, go to each other's houses all the time, like whenever they wanted, because they could walk there. Or, it was just 15 to 20 minutes to the nearest mall, and they went there all the time, but, they couldn't show up to my house. They couldn't do, yeah, because that was normal. Because I lived far away because I was a transfer kid. So, in 2015, my husband and I had to move in with his family for financial reasons. That was a 45-minute one-way trip. And I learned in that moment, I still wasn't 26 yet, so I didn't really get that final nail in the coffin for me. But, all right. I now realized, wow, this is what 45 minutes away from literally everyone I ever cared about is like, and it was very financially different. And so I didn't have the money to see my friends, once a week like I used to, because it was now hard, before, when I'd go out and visit, it was easy for me to spend the night whenever I wanted if I was over there, and my parents dropped me off and stuff, because I wasn't driving at the time. My parents had to get me. It was easy, I could spend the night whenever I wanted. It wasn't a big issue. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, the second I move, and I tell people, like, hey, I don't mind paying the gas to see you because you are my friend, and I like spending time with you, and I like being with you. We don't have to go out. We can just veg in your room and play games. We can talk. We can chat. We can, just be in each other's presence. Again, I know a 6-pack round boy, that's not the same now, but I need to get this out for future things and people to resonate with it, because it's actually making me mad thinking about it. Like, I'm shaking, because I finally got that spark to make this video. So. All of a sudden, I had a friend that, I kid you not, was one of my dearest friends. I would stay the night at least every other weekend before I moved. Suddenly I moved, couldn't do that anymore. Huh. Well, we're both adults, schedules change, that's normal, right? That's normal. It's not. Especially when I'd see that this friend would do it with other people and hang out with other people. And I was starting to gain confidence in myself. I was making my own money. I was paying for my own stuff. I got my driver's license, all that good stuff. And it'd be like, okay, if I come see you, I got to stay the night because I live really far and I'm still a newbie driver and I don't really want to waste the gas going to and fro if something happens. All of a sudden, there's issues with that. All of a sudden, I went from seeing people and friends that were supposedly my best friends, once a week, at least a couple good chunk of times, to like once a month. I know that living with my in-laws wasn't the best, and I'm not going to talk about that here, but there were good times, and, I'd be like, oh, why don't you come stay with me? Want to come stay with me? No, that's because you live so far away. And I remember being like, well, yeah, now I live far away, but I didn't before it was 15 minutes, maybe 20. But now it's 45, and that's a long way and a lot of gas. But you'll come out when we have a party. You'll come out for a birthday. But just to hang out and veg out like you do all the time? Suddenly that's not possible? Suddenly your schedule doesn't allow it? Oh, I have to ask for time off for us to hang out, but you can't? We can't, switch schedules, get people collected? That's how it has to be? So I started like realizing things, and I had friends that would say things that were really, really hurtful and really just mean. Like there's no nice way to say it. I know it's like a cliche to be like they were mean to me, but like genuinely hurtful things under the guise of I'm just being honest, or we've been friends for so long, do you really want me to lie to you? Or if I was with other people and be like, should we tell her what's going on when we're like in our 20s? And I'm like, yeah. Why would you say things like that in front of me and then proceed to not tell me what you were going to talk about? And I kept trying to make excuses. And I tried thinking, and I tried, coming up with like literally excuses because I didn't want to think that my friends were bad people. Obviously, this isn't all of them. I have a very, very small number of people I still keep in contact with, and there's a reason for that. So, yeah. And I would see all the time on Facebook and social media that, they were out doing stuff with other people. Have no problem suddenly, dropping lots of money, going to bars and going to theme parks and, going to all these things just out of the blue. And then they definitely weren't planned because I knew who these people were and I knew what their budgets were. So it very much was like, I'm fine dunking my entire month's paycheck on this thing because I'm going to make more money. Or I can just quit, because I don't really have that many important bills. And that's when I really started to realize the big disconnect there. And I remember when I was taking a psychology class on I forget what the technical term was. It was years ago. I'm very sorry. But I remember learning about like the 5% rule or whatever it's called. I wasn't a psychology major. I only took a couple classes, so I'm sorry. I don't know if it's got different like wordage now or it's different research papers and stuff that go behind it. But pretty much, if you have a relationship where 95% of the time it's bliss, it's it's the best, you have the best memories, the best laughs, but that 5%, it's not that it's bad, it's horrible, okay? It's stuff that like eats at you sometimes. It like gets under your skin and it actively hurts you. It's not them being honest to be that they're being mean and hurtful. Okay? Like to an extreme degree. So in 2016 I got engaged and started noticing these things, realizing more and more, working on myself, working on my family as I'm, my husband, trying to save up to move out. And at the time, because the economy is is a pain. I am still not one of those people that's like, just move out. Because I know firsthand it's not that easy, especially if you're not making enough money to move out, because the minimum wage is dumb, but that's not the point of this video. Because the minimum wage is... don't curse. Don't curse, Michelle. Try to be good. You don't want to edit this a lot. So, I got engaged. And a couple of my core friends at the time, who were not invited to my wedding, and I'm very proud of that, were all of a sudden judging me and judging my relationship because, well, why would you be with someone so long if you didn't make him, propose sooner, which I didn't make him, oh, why'd you pick that ring? That ring, the ring that means a lot to you, because the ring I picked means a lot to me and a lot to my husband. And it's not a diamond because I don't like diamonds. It's not like an edgy thing, and I don't like yellow gold. I like white gold. And I also, and this is a personal preference, and I know it's a tangent, but it's important. And this is no offense to people who have this, but the idea of having like thousands of dollars worth of something on my finger at all times is anxiety inducing. I like the idea, I never want it to happen, but if anything were to happen to where I were to lose my wedding ring, or I was to get mugged, or just something, it breaks, I'm not going to cry and sob because thousands of dollars is down the drain. A couple hundred is, and I can get it replaced. I don't want it to come to that, but that's how I am. That's how my husband is. I had them judging me for my wedding dress. I had them judging me for the tastes I wanted. I had them belittling me and my weight and my hair and like everything and just picking at me. And they would use the guise of, I'm just honest. Well, we've been friends for so long, you'd want me to lie to your face and tell you something's ugly? Oh, because it wasn't that they were being honest, they were being hurtful, because there is an honest way you can talk to people. I like to think of myself as a pretty honest person with people that I am close to, and when you're close to somebody, you know what they mentally can and cannot take, okay? You know. Everybody does to some degree. The difference is selfish people don't care. They try to use the guise of I'm being honest as an excuse to be a mean person, to be a hurtful person. This can be family, friends, partners, loved ones, anybody. Okay? But it comes back to that 5% thing. And that would be it. It wouldn't be little things, because no relationship is sunshine and rainbows. I've had fights with my close friends. I've had fights with my husband. I've had pretty bad things, but I've never, in my friend group that I have now, that I have kept, I've never even gotten close to that 5% margin. With almost every single one of my friends previous that I don't keep in my life now, almost all of them, I had that 5%. There were a couple that we just slowly drifted apart, and they are not a part of this conversation. But I literally can count all of those people on one hand for the ones where we just drifted apart because we were adults, and sometimes you drift apart from people. The rest of them were that 5%. And it would gnaw at me, but I would tell myself, it's okay, it's okay. Oh, I would make excuses. I would do everything. But all of a sudden, when it came down to D&D nights, oh, hey, we'd like to host D&D. You live too far. But we're willing to drive like 60 minutes, out of nowhere every week to go to someone else's house. But you live too far. Okay. So, the breaking point, which is when I was 26. So, in 2018, I got married. Okay. My husband and I, without doxing ourselves, live really, really, really close to a very famous theme park. I'm not going to say which one it is, but you can kind of guess the general area, but there's also like 3 theme parks that live near me. Okay. But 2 of them are very, very big. One of which at the time, we had a season pass to, that we told all of our friends about, because we live really close to this theme park, and so we were like, hey, you guys can find parking that you don't have to pay for, and let us know, and we'll pitch in for the Uber, so we don't have to worry about parking and food, and, we can have a place to chill after, so we could go to the theme park whenever we wanted. And all of our friends would make the same excuses of like, well, we don't have a lot of money. Oh, this and that. And we'd gotten our own place. Okay. Through all of the trials and tribulations, we had gotten our own place. And at the time, with our friends who lived in California, we were the only ones for this friend group that had a place of our own. Okay. Everybody else lived with family or no family. It was all family now that I'm thinking about it. Like, none of them really lived with other friends. It was all family with them. Which is fine. There's no shame in that. But we would offer so often. We're like, hey, we don't have parents to have to, ask permission to. You guys can just come over. Because it's our own place. Oh, we don't have the money for that. Oh, we don't have that. And it hit me. It hit me so hard when it was around Halloween time. So we had just gotten in, and we had okay, so technically I wasn't 26 yet then. My birthday's in November. It was still October. But we had gotten married October 22nd of 2018. God, even recapping it now, it was like a week after my wedding. Oh, that's even worse. Ooh, sorry. I'm remembering in live action, so in real time, I mean. There was this very special Halloween event that we would go to every year for these theme parks. And we would go with these groups of friends, and we were so excited. We were so excited this year because we were like, oh my God, guys, you could spend the night in our apartment. We could have a whole party. We could all go to this Halloween event at the theme park. We have season passes. You guys can save up for it. It will be amazing. We don't have the money for that. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I'm helping buy you a wedding gift. Oh, no. We understood. We respected that. We were a little bummed, but we were like, you know what? It's okay. We'll go. We'll do it, just the two of us, because we've done that as well. We were not upset at all. The glass shattering moment was when, on social media, they had posted all about how all of them, had gone to this Halloween event. Didn't mention us, didn't talk, me or my husband, so it wasn't even just me. And just all these photos of them having fun. And if you live in California and you know how the theme park events are out, you're spending at least about $100 a person. It's a pretty expensive thing. It's not a cheap thing. And they would always talk about how they didn't have the money. They didn't do this and that. Oh, Michelle, why are you getting so heated and upset? Maybe it was gifts. Maybe it was. It wasn't. Oh, it wasn't. Because we asked later. And we were genuinely devastated at this thing. Because they didn't even attempt to hit us up. To talk to us, to do any of it. They are always more than willing when we wanted to go out of our way and drive to them or to pitch in for stuff they wanted to do or anything. Always more than willing, but they would never invite us to stuff. They would never do that. And call me basic, but I cried. I was so angry that I cried. Because it was literally less than 15 minutes away from where I live. We could have Ubered there. Heck, if I was really determined, we could have walked there and saved money. Nothing. Nothing. And I brought it up to them. Later on, because I didn't want to ruin their phone. The fun already happened. They posted it the next day. And all I got was, it was a spur of the moment thing, Michelle. Oh, we know you and Cody work so much. We didn't want to invite you because we didn't think you could go. Even though they knew we had season passes because we had gotten them as wedding gifts. And they went to my wedding. And the glass shattered for me. And I started noticing things. Things that I just ignored because it's like when you have a friend that screws over another friend, but you don't want to really end that friendship. And so you're like, well, they never did anything with me. And, well, it wasn't, like, that bad in retrospect. It was still bad to them, but, they didn't do anything to me. And, like, I've never been a, like, it's me or them person, and I'm still not. But it really shows people's character. It really does. Because they were always more than willing to go to Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, Castle Park, the mall, sushi restaurants, movie theaters, all of this stuff. Just randomly decided to get plane tickets and travel. But let's go hang out for a weekend and watch movies. Nope, can't do that. We can't afford it. Oh, let's go do D&D. Nope, we can't afford the gas, but you can come to us. Yep, you can come to us. Oh, I can't afford to pitch in for a $5 pizza, but do you like that I just spent $300 on my hair? And by the way, they would talk about that. They wouldn't like do it themselves for cheap because I dyed my hair for cheap. So it wasn't like again, it's another one of those things where you gotta look. But I ignored all the red flags. I was like, oh, okay. So I was deeply hurt, and I was told, well, it's okay. We'll do it next year. Yeah, 2019 came around, didn't happen either, and they did the same thing. But like I said, I started noticing things. So another really big moment was one of my proudest moments, actually. And this one was in 2019. Was we were having a D&D thing because a friend of ours was coming down from college because our friend was he had to go away for college. So he came back down for a little bit. And we were doing D&D, and we were constantly, because it was on the weekends. My husband and I always have weekends off. Well, I mean, I touch and go, but I make my own schedule. But my husband always did. And we were like, oh my God, this is great. Come to our apartment. No, you don't have good parking. We can't afford the gas. Oh, because so-and-so's coming down and doesn't have a job, we're just going to meet halfway so it's easier for everybody because everybody lives within close proximity of each other because we all live with our parents still. Okay. I guess we can afford the drive. That's fine. That's fair. That's being adult. Okay. So we go. And we have fun a couple times, and it was okay. It was nice seeing everybody again because they never come out here ever. But we would see them going to Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm and all the theme parks all the time on social media. But again, they never have money to come see us. And if you're like, well, Michelle, you sound really bitter about this, I am, because they would use the excuse of I don't have the money instead of just blatantly saying I don't want to see you. I don't want to stay in your apartment. But I do want to do my things. I want to have fun with not you. Oh, okay, so we're not friends anymore. No, I never said that. I love you. Really, because it seems like you're more like you want a therapist. Because I've also had a lot of these people that the only times we ever hung out, the only times, it was to talk to me about their issues, which was fine. I had no issue with that. But the second I would try to talk about my issues, like a friendship does, suddenly couldn't handle it. Suddenly couldn't deal. Or even worse, or when I would give them my honest opinion and advice, because like I said, I would understand, like, okay, what they could say, what and sometimes they'd want my honest opinion, and I'd be honest about it, but I would say it, and I would like, oh, well, that's not what I wanted to hear. Okay, so you want to talk to a wall? Or people that are only like-minded like yourself? That's why you're talking to me. Oh, Michelle, you've changed. You're not like how you were in high school. Oh, you're so opinionated now. Oh, you're so open about, like, your wants and your ambitions. That wasn't like you at all. So we were having this D&D thing. Okay. And I do not say this lightly. I do not say this to make fun or joke or anything. Okay? It was a very serious moment. So I literally got triggered in this moment. And I know it's like a thing. Like literally, I started having a panic attack because of issues that I was dealing with previous to our current living situation now. So we were having D&D. I wasn't feeling too good, but I still wanted to drive out and see everybody, so I just kind of chilled back. I hung out with another friend of ours on the couch. And a friend of ours, parents' friend came in and started screaming. I mean, screaming at everybody, at everyone, telling everyone that they were losers and that, oh, they didn't do their chores for the day. Keep in mind, these are all people in their mid to late 20s. Screaming about how, like, this is their parents' house and it's such a pigsty and that their game could wait. And it was just, this grown woman was screaming at the top of her lungs, and I started shaking. I started feeling like I was going to cry. I literally flashed back to very traumatic instances that I had previous years. And I had never experienced something so visceral to where it was so bad that I froze. I froze up, and I felt like I was in a prison in my own body because I just snapped. I snapped, and I couldn't take it anymore. So the screaming had stopped. The lady had left. They were being snippy about, like, well, now I'm not going to do it. And oh my God. And it's blah, 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 blah. And to say the mood was killed, But I texted Cody. I'm like, I want to go home. I want to leave. I don't want to be here. And then I got up and I just asked him, like, why can't we have D&D at our house? Why can't we have D&D in our apartment? Why? Why can't you come to our place? And I said, to this day, I was like, is it messy? Does it smell? Are we filthy? I want a reason besides money. I want a reason besides it's inconvenient. Everyone shut up, and Cody agreed with me because Cody's my husband and I love him. He's like, yeah, why couldn't we? This wouldn't have happened at our apartment. This wouldn't have happened at all. Y'all could have pitched in, and we could have picked you guys up for paying for gas. No, guys, it is because it's a money thing. It is because we can't afford the gas to come see you. We don't make as much money as you two do. We don't live on our own as much as you guys do. The parking is an issue. It's not bad. The next week, I kid you not. The next week, Cody and I were like, we're not going. We're not going to the D&D thing. I can't. I am not Now that I know there's a possibility that I can get screamed at by a 60-year-old who I don't even know, who's like full-on adult screaming, okay? Like, not like poking fun, like the earth-shattering screaming. For people who have issues, you know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? We didn't go. That next week, they drove 60 minutes to somebody else's house. And then they used the excuse of, oh no, it's their house. So that's why we made it, because it's a house. Which, by the way, and no shame to this one person, because this one person wasn't an issue here, but it wasn't their house. It was a family member's house. They weren't on the mortgage. They were not paying rent. So it wasn't their house. And I was done in that moment. I was like, nope. They're not. I would rather have them be honest and be like, yeah, your apartment's a pigsty. Yeah, your apartment smells. I don't like your cat. I just don't like you. But they never had that. Okay? We never got that. And then when we brought that up, oh, well, it's different because it's a house. That's 60 minutes away in the opposite direction. And that was the moment that I realized they did not value or think that we were worth the time, money, and gas to come hang out with us. That was it. Just every single time it had to be them. Had to be that. And it still stings to this day. And you want to know why it stings? Because I have currently I don't want to cry, the best friends I've ever had in my life. Because I've had friends make time for me. I've had friends fly across the country. And we save up and we plan and we do things so we can see each other. I had closer bonds with people who live at the other end of the country than people who lived 15 minutes away from me. And we never gave each other's excuses. We never made BS. We can't do it all the time, obviously, and because of what's going on in the world right now, we can't do it like we used to, but it wasn't even an issue. Because they made the time. Because I made the time for them, and it was the first time in my life that I had friends treat me the way I treated them. And I know I wouldn't have them now if things were different. But I'm making this so it doesn't take people 26 years to realize bullshit is bullshit. And if I can help you come to that realization, then I did something today, okay? Then I feel like I did my part and I shared my platform in the way I want to, because it's what I've always said. I make content that I want to make and that I wish I had seen when I needed it. So, hope you guys enjoyed this rant, this ramble. I don't usually get this heated, but it's inspiration strikes. You gotta work on it. As an artist, you understand. Thank you as always to my Patreon patrons. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. I literally wouldn't be able to just be ranting at my computer at now 2:40 in the morning. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I feel really weird saying that now, but those have been helping a lot. And my social medias are in my link tree, link down below if you want to follow me. I'm making a video every Wednesday, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.